Sarah and I have been collaborating on all of her narrative films to date, even from her short films. So in the spirit of that, Sarah had taken almost a 10-year hiatus to have a family. So I kind of was, going around and doing other projects, and all of a sudden the phone rings. And Sarah says, listen, I'm very interested in adapting this book that will be produced by Dee Dee Gardner from Plan B and Frances McDormand that has the rights. And as soon as she said that, I just kind of kept imagining all three of them as a creative force and what kind of film we could make together. So I was instantly very excited. I have this process where she hands me the first draft, and she has this great way of just saying a few sentences, knowing that they're abstract, but to set you in the tone. So it's important to start there, that she handed me the script and said, I want this film to feel as epic as the decision that these women have to make, and how the weight of that needs to be present. So when I was reading it, it kind of sets me in a tone of what she's thinking without us prepping the film fully. She didn't disappoint as far as really wanting to use photography, because she understands, even as an actor, an amazing writer, she understands that it's a visual medium, and to me that's super exciting. And our collaboration on this, it was probably the hardest film we've made together, just based on, again, this kind of pressure of the importance of what the story was. We ended up with this very gothic, desaturated, very heavy color palette tone to the film, just to kind of make you feel the weight of what's about to happen in the world that they live in. It was very important to kind of communicate that to our other crafts, because we shot a lot of tests early on so that when we started official photography, we were able to actually show the color tone and the palette that we were going for. I just had this instant emotional reaction to it, where I was like, this feels like it could be something for our film. This idea of being able to frame, all of our 12 women in one shot, and they could all be in a medium close, or have 4 or 5 women in a frame and they're all in close-up, became very exciting to me as they debate. And I know that's what Sarah told me she really responded to when we started looking at this aspect, is that you could, and she told me this early on as well, that she wants all the women's faces to be filling the frames all the time. We shot a lot of magic hour and sunset to kind of give you this sense of almost tragic beauty of what they might leave behind or have to leave behind. So a lot of the choices were very much photographically made from the heart and the gut. But at the same time, as a cinematographer, you have your toolbox that you try to draw from. But I really appreciated the discovery process and how Sarah was so involved in every step of the way. Keita had her own wardrobe test, because for me, I needed to show her early on what the tones are, because I know Keita ended up compensating in certain tones so that certain colors came through, but you needed to be able to see an image of what was happening. So I worked very closely with Keita, even during our official prep for the film, as she was thinking and making choices. She would come into my office, or I would go down and I would color time on the spot on my laptop, and was able to show her images instantly. Peter Costco and I worked very closely together as well, because there was this tendency to want to make the barn kind of more of an enclosed, kind of like smaller space. That's when you read the novel, that's kind of how it plays, it feels, where they're in this little kind of dark room where they're out of sight from anyone in case they come back, and they basically want to hide. And there was this thing that we thought of, that Sarah and I kind of talked about going the exact opposite than that, because you want to feel more like they're almost reinventing their faith, these women. So we've had this idea with Peter to make the loft more like a cathedral, and more very, very much grand in its scale, so that you felt like you could have easily been watching this unfold in a church. For me, I reacted the exact same way as a lot of people we've shown the film to, which is kind of speechless. There's just so much that happens on screen that you're left absorbing it after the fact, and it takes a while. And I've been to a few festivals now where I would meet people and they would literally tell me, I can't talk about this film yet because I'm so moved by it. And to me, that's kind of what I was hoping for, and I felt the same way when I saw it. What is a victory for me is that I felt, based on the performances you see in the film, it's kind of the biggest gift that I could have as a cinematographer, because to me it showed that what we were doing hopefully didn't get in their way so much. And they were able to feel comfortable enough to be able to go to places emotionally that they felt comfortable enough with myself and the crew. To me, that's a success. It's definitely Sarah Polley's sandbox, but she lets us all play and laugh and just be a family. And she once told me she cares more about the experience of making a film than the actual final product. So to me, that's another great way of kind of describing how she sees this. She's grown up on sets. She was a child actor. She's grown up with crew. So you definitely feel that. She cares tremendously about her crew, and it's very infectious in a great kind of way. So I've never been on another film set like that, where there's this personal connection, and personality of who we bring into the fold is equally as important as skill.